Kia ora, dear listener or viewer. Welcome to Zealand. Now, Zealand is set in a post-apocalyptic world, so it goes without saying that we will be exploring some of the darker natures of humanity. So if you're squeamish or the idea unsettles you, take your chance now to walk away. For now, we return to Zealand.
Kia ora, guys, gals, and legionnaires. Rycon here, and welcome back to Zealand. This is part 4 of chapter 7. This is the very last part of our season. Are we all ready? Are we all prepared? Are we all settled? No, we're not, because we're on a boat getting chased by unknown things, and we're also back at the base, trying to get in place some traps, and that's actually where we're going to begin things. As some time has passed, the others have been gone, there's been a bit of radio communication that's come back and forth between all of you. But those traps are going in place. Skulk, you are using the assistance of Nick to place these traps in front of these... Yeah, in front of the burrows, but more just like instructing him, like, yes, that's... Yep, okay, that's going to be how it is. Yeah, okay, you've got that, that's good. Vedant, you're providing overwatch during this period. And Dan, are you insisting in this endeavour at all?
Yeah, I think we were planning to have me and Frank keeping an eye over this, and then once that's set up, moving onto the fence.
Okay, alright. So these traps are getting put in place. Vedant, while you are doing overwatch, I need you to roll perception for me as you're scanning over the area. This is going to be... What can I give you? What can I give you? Or what can I take away from you?
That'd be nice.
This is going to be harrowing. Minus 50 to your roll.
Oh no.
Come on, you're doing so good, Scott.
Wait,
He only has
50?
one.
He's a minus 50.
Minus 50.
You're doing so
I
good,
can't,
Scott.
I can't succeed. That's
Get a
that's
crit.
minus 1.
Get a crit.
Get a 1.
Cool.
Get a 1. Anything but a 1.
Nope.
Okay. Alright, you scan over the area.
Guess that only works for d20s.
Oh, you think you're all good.
I love how he said that.
Okay. Nick, as you're heading out towards these burrows to place these traps in place, can I get you to roll a perception check for me? And this is going to be harrowing as well, minus 50.
Sure, so that's minus 50, is it?
Yes, it is.
16.
Yes! Always reliable.
Eagle Eye Nick. Eagle Eye Nick. Eagle Eye Nick.
My eye went to him.
Yes. Yeah, he's got a third eye now on his forehead.
The problem is he's using clipping, he can see through the ground.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Every time one of us loses a limb, that's a sacrifice to Nick's perception.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Especially eyes.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Nick, as you're walking out towards these burrows and you're kind of like slowly kind of making your way out towards them with a backpack full of these razor wire traps that you're going to be putting in place around in front of these burrows, there is something quite close to those burrows. It's a little ways off, but it's something that catches your eye. Now that it's a little bit brighter, the sun is higher in the sky, there is something sticking out of the grass that's there. It seems to have a circular top to it, with a stem that reaches down into the ground. It's all black, and you kind of just make it out in the grass as the grass, I know, I love all the confused looks, just this grass just moving around it. I'd say it's probably about 50 meters off from the burrows. How wide? It's about this big in terms of circumference, and then it comes down to like a stem, which goes down in. It seems metallic and black.
A funnel?
Yeah.
And it's just something that it's like it's just in the corner of your eye. You pick out this thing, you're like, was that always there?
Is anyone around me?
Currently, no.
Me and
you,
Frank?
You, oh, yeah, Dan. Okay, yeah, Dan and Frank would be kind of like being your honor guard.
Because I'd be suspicious of everything. I'd be like, what the fuck is that? And I just point at the bizarre kind of thing.
Wanna
See anything?
there. One of Scott's, some of his, like, speakers or anything, right? I know he's wanting to set them up in some of the other towns. Left them behind a long time ago, Bluetooth speakers, but that's bigger than that. A lot bigger.
Piece of a windmill? Or
I'm gonna go give it a prod. Frank slowly starts moving towards this thing.
I radio over, since we're looking at, I'm looking for binoculars, like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Radio. Is my audio?
yeah,
Yeah, you're good. You got
My
you.
audio.
My audio.
Audio back.
On the radio back and just say, oh, just seen something strange. And then I describe.
And as you can kind of see the direction that they're moving towards, just slightly off from the burrows, you do see something that's there. Like you don't see it first, and then you kind of catch a black something amongst the grass.
So is it like a disc shaped something?
Yeah, seems to be at the top. But then as you're kind of getting a closer look with the scope, looking on down on it, and as you're kind of like binocularing in on it, actually you'd probably be using the telescope, quite possibly, because it's daytime. The kind of like the circular shape of the top of it, it does dip in slightly.
Like a bowl or
Almost like a bowl, and now that you're looking at it closely, you can see a slight trembling almost to it, like a shaking, then it stops.
Son of a
Still.
bitch.
And then a shaking,
whatever
And
it
it
is
stops.
that's moving.
and then a shaking,
Subsonic zombie bait.
and it stops.
This is why Great Barrier fled as quickly as they could. Because they knew this stuff was waiting for us.
Do you say that over comms?
Yeah.
Well,
Could also be why they lured us away.
Yeah, take us away, set this up, bring us back, drop us into the trap.
But why would they want us go on whatever? I mean,
Same reason they didn't let these guys go onto the island.
or they're experimenting.
Yeah, on people they know already have a grudge against them.
Yeah, they're seeing if these things work.
That or just trying to get rid of you properly. I mean, we should have a look see if it actually is that, but
No, touch them.
I'm gonna carefully get closer, see if I can see if it actually does look like a
Right. Frank's
Space.
staying beside you, spear out. He's just kind of looking at the grass around here as well, and you do start moving towards it. And as you get a little bit closer, you almost feel sick. Like there is like you can almost feel like a change as you get closer, and you kind of feel like a strange sensation in your stomach as you get closer towards it. Like you almost feel nauseous. But you can definitely see some of the grass blades that are falling by it. They do seem to get affected by this thing.
Forgive me if this sucks, and I'm gonna hold out the walkie with the trigger on and bring it closer to the thing and see if they react at all, feedback or
All walkies. No. All walkies. Even actually on the
'Cause we've been
on the
hearing
boat
this as well.
as it's coming
haven't we?
around. Yeah, you've been hearing like discussion. It's been intermittent in between the. Fuck! There's something in the water.
Fuck, there's something in the ground.
Yeah.
Fuck, there's something in the sky.
Surf and turf. Yeah, so as soon as this goes across, I mean, you're still not hearing anything, but then across the RTs, there is a weird kind of like a
I think I hear some misty frequencies.
The things in the ocean, they
Sweet trumpets.
reacting at all?
still following you. Same distance.
Definitely.
All of them followed us?
Yes.
And they had taken
Looks like
up,
like I said, there could have been between 4 to 5.
and they took up the majority of the zombies that were around the boat.
Yep, once you stopped and turned around, you kind of lost sight of what could have been around the other side. The music was still blaring.
I'll look over to Skull. Where the zombies came in, the big breach. Can you look around there to see if you can see another similar one of these things?
I do. I go check the telescopes. Or looking around the ground or anything near that area.
I mean, at this distance, it's difficult to tell. You were around there this morning. You looked around there this morning. Don't remember seeing anything like this that they've described, or what you kind of semi had a glance at.
Can I hear that sound coming through Nick and Frank's walkies?
Yes, you can. Yes, yeah. There's a little bit of feedback, but yeah.
Then I will stop and get a little bit closer. Still.
Okay. Again,
right
yeah,
up near it.
that nauseous feeling, it kicks up almost to another level where like you feel like you're going to be sick. And like it's a strange sensation. It feels bizarre. You've been to concerts before. You know what like loudness is like, right?
Yeah.
To be hit by something you can feel like bass. It's not like that at all. It's something else. And it's making you sick.
Is it sick to the point I can't push through, or
Roll will for me.
.38 pass?
You feel like you're almost going to retch, but you push through, getting closer to this thing.
I'm gonna take my hammer and just using the back end of it, I want to see if I can just lift it up, lift the edge of it, see if it's pinned into the ground or if it's free to just.
Okay.
If I see him getting close, I'll be like, I'll
Yeah.
radio over. Be careful. You don't know whether it's booby trapped.
It does seem to be lodged quite deeply into the ground. Like there is a little bit of movement to it once you kind of get your hammer up and underneath of it. You can see that there is more to this instrument beneath the kind of cap. A number of different like switches, and there seems to be like a tiny little display screen there as well.
Could I see what the screen says?
There is a hertz on there, and it's low. Super fucking low.
And you said there's switches and stuff?
Yes, there are.
Like a adjustable dial or just.
Big red button?
There is a dial, and there is a red and a green button.
I'm gonna turn the dial just slowly up a little bit. See if
Okay.
that sick feeling changes, or
Roll another will check for me. Actually, no, it's going to be Constitution at this stage.
Constitution.
Yeah, Constitution.
48 pass.
Nice. You really feel like at that stage, you feel like what little you had for breakfast just start to come back up again, but you force it back down. That was a lot worse. A lot worse.
in the other direction.
Feeling better.
I'm gonna keep turning.
You can actually see as well, like you can see like when it does start vibrating for that time, it was much fiercer before, but now it's kind of subsiding somewhat.
I'm gonna just turn it down a bit and return to these guys. It's definitely some kind of frequency generator.
Can you turn it off?
There are some switches. I haven't tried pushing them. Quite logically could be on and off, but there's a dial. One way it got a lot worse being close to it. Being that near, it's sickening. Not base sickening, but physically ill sickening.
I'm trying to figure out whether that episode of Game Theory came out before or after the thing started.
Probably after.
I actually don't know which one you're talking about.
There's an episode of Game Theory or Film Theory where he talks about infrasonic things as weapons.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but they had their stuff on the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
We'll see if you can.
No one remembers that.
Everyone forgot that film.
If you
It's an
can.
incredible movie.
Yeah.
I think even the animated series had them.
See if you can turn it off and bring it back, and we can see if we can pull it apart and see what makes it tick.
Perhaps we can use it ourselves. Pull these things away instead of towards us.
Frank, can I borrow that spear of yours?
Yep.
I'm gonna-
He just kind of throws it. Like, not sparing. He puts it around blunt end and just kind of throws it towards you because he's not getting any closer to this thing. It's still very uncomfortable for you to be here. You got the spear?
I'm going to sort of tuck it under my arm and
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
use it as a pole and just try and hit that red button from a distance, just in case it blows up.
Okay. Red button. All right. Hit that red button, like it moves slightly. And then that stops.
Wait a moment, and
Doesn't seem to be going back on.
seems like that was the off switch and it didn't blow up, so...
Oh, good spotting.
You
That
feel-
we found that.
You feel like you feel it subside. The kind of sickness that you were feeling. Nick, you've seen all this go down and you've felt some slight waves of nausea. You don't look anywhere near as green as Dan does, but
Quick, he's telling you to the Hulk. Shoot him.
I think that's it off. Can you give me a hand, Nick? We'll see if we can pull whatever this is out of the ground.
Give me a hand.
Yeah, sure. Let's give it a go.
it's decently stuck in there, but the two of you kind of wiggling it backwards and forwards are able to bring it out, and you can see that it is it's tapered at the end so that it might stick into the ground, and it's a decent way in there. But after securing that and then heading over to deploy the traps,
It's not connected to anything else. It's its own individual
it's
self-sustained
its
unit.
own individual unit.
Any identifying marks upon it?
Not that you can see. Most of the like the dial and the buttons on it don't actually have anything on them. It's just the color.
Yeah.
There is like underneath the kind of circular piece, there is kind of like, it's more like square before it tapers down. But yeah, I mean, other than that, this thing it's strange.
How close did I need to get to it before the walkies started reacting?
Did an experiment. I mean, you were close to it already
Yeah.
when you turned it
And
on.
it came on right away as soon as I tried using the walkie next to it, as far as I could tell, or...
No, there was a gap, and then it started, and then it went, and it started. It seemed to be pulsing.
Okay.
Do you still carry through with trapping the holes?
I think we need to, just in case.
Oh, I would have thought so. Yeah, let's do it.
But we won't worry about the fence for the moment. These are potentially more important.
All right.
If there's more of them, Fixing the fence won't do anything if they all come back tonight.
Carefully, the traps are laid in place. Where possible, using Frank's spear to reach them out, put them in place over the poles, over the holes, like putting small little tie downs, so that if anything comes out of here, that'll effectively be jumping into a noose, a razor wire noose that will tighten. Once in place, you start making it back towards the MDC to get back inside the main walls. All the while, a ship is sailing. And what is that sailing ship doing? Jen's still kind of like looking back in the direction from where you came. And then occasionally just kind of shaking herself too, and then going over towards the sails and just trying to adjust them.
How are we going to get on land? We can't. Those things are obviously following us to figure out where we go.
We can beach this. Better than taking a risk.
If they follow us back,
I mean, they can't exactly, walk on land. So as long as we don't plan to go back on the sea, we don't know how long they'll wait.
there's plenty of fish there. They will take our entire food source there.
That's been one of our main sources of food.
Yeah.
We'll go right round. We'll beach at Parkery.
That's gonna have us very far away from everyone else.
I don't know how long these happy pills are gonna last.
We beach at Madison's Bay.
Where is that actually?
It's on the other side of Lee.
You're gonna
Do you remember?
schlep
Do you
all the
remember
way
that
back?
fucking ship? No, that was good. That was good. That was good. That was a good fun that day. That was a good outing.
So you're gonna schlep all the way from there and back.
With all of the hordes that are between you and...
They're all up here, or from what we saw. Yeah, we don't know what's there.
You saw the hordes when you were coming around there. You saw the hordes in the field.
Jake and Scott, I will tell you, as you are making your way along, making your way around, the wind catching your sail and bring you a little bit further. Those people that you could see along the cliff sides before, can't see them anymore.
They moved.
They're not there.
Radio through. Hey guys,
Yes.
what did you guys do with that thing?
Turned it off.
You know that horde that I saw?
Yep.
It's not there anymore. And they were just, as I said before, they were all just dazed and confused.
What if
I don't-
what if the thing isn't an attraction but a repulsor?
Yeah.
Mate, turn it back on. Whatever hertz it was at, put it back in the ground and turn it back on.
Well, they could have just fucked off.
Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed, and they weren't wandering around. They were just sitting there.
But how would it...
And the military knew there were infected all around.
Remember last night the bats left.
It called them that far, but there were still ones outside our gates,
I think they were just there.
just pacifying them maybe?
Yeah, and when they saw us, they attacked. Don't forget those bats left.
Yeah, but so did the other ones. Bats from the last time, they left too.
In the middle of the night.
Someone would have had to have turned that on.
When we came off the boat from the military,
Mm-hmm.
did all of us see them pointing and stuff?
Yeah, that's sort of...
No.
Not everyone.
No.
Some of you did though.
Did I?
No, I
No,
don't
I
think
think
so. It was more
Jake and
Skulk.
Skull?
Yeah, because Jake was keeping his eye on Skulk, and Skulk definitely saw her.
They knew something was here, but the thing is, they said when they brought us to Great Barrier that there was really a horde here anyway.
When we came back, they said there was nothing but 3 people in the caravans, meter-wise. I didn't hear, but they specifically said there was not a horde of people waiting for us when we came back.
So, yeah, when we left, there was a horde. When we came back, there wasn't.
Except there was.
What do you
but
see
it
up
wasn't.
top?
I will look up top.
Oh,
Look up top.
Go up top and look.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am on top.
We on top of the hill.
Nick, we can just put
Just
this
look
back
towards
just in
that
case we do
horde.
need to turn it on.
I look towards where.
Towards the hills and stuff like that.
It wasn't harming us until we got close anyway, so
I won't turn it on just yet, but
Look,
Verdant, if you see anything.
looking around, V, things are looking the same as they were this morning.
The zombies that were in the camp when we arrived, like, you know, around that we fought, were they shamblers? Like dead?
Yes, yeah. With kind of like severely overgrown
Nasty.
everything.
So ones that temperature runs rather cold. Okay.
I'll radio out again. Nothing's changed here. I don't see any new hordes approaching or anything of that sort. What's taking you guys so long?
We found the boat, but it was completely surrounded by dead and unborn. Sorry, those fucking albino dolphins.
Yeah, from past experience, I would say get out.
I think unborn's maybe a good name for it.
I don't want to say that because it wasn't meant to say that.
The evolved.
I think maybe it's a good one.
No, so the other ones are White Walkers. These are the white binned.
Reborn? Undead.
Re-undead.
I feel like unborn works.
Nah, that's a terrible name.
Look, and these,
What, we're gonna
these
go
things,
back to frickin' ninja predator baby
Yes,
zombies?
Yes, nips.
Yeah,
No, but that only works for the children ones.
so we could just call them Nip Dolphins.
Yeah, nip dolphins.
Nip dolphins. Nipdies.
Yeah, nipdies.
Anyway,
Niphibious.
anyway.
it was weird. These things were like clearing the dead from Second Chance.
Not the worst thing in the world.
And then they started following us.
They're not,
That's
That's the worst thing.
they're not attacking you now?
No, they are way faster than us, and they are just keeping the distance. We know these newer things as smart, at least as smart as what they were.
Maybe that buys you a chance to get into the second chance. A third chance.
These cliff sides, they're empty.
Look, that horde is gone.
Now, I will tell you, obviously, you're looking from sea view,
Yeah.
you know, so you're looking up, you're
Yeah, it's
just seeing
pretty-
kind of along the edges and stuff like that, so you're not seeing far inland or anything
Yeah.
like that, but what you could see before isn't there anymore.
I would say put it back. You radio this in.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying
Oh,
this,
so yeah.
this is what we're looking at.
Put it back, turn it on. The thing wasn't actually harming us until we got close. But it was...
Well,
Low hertz goes longer.
Yeah.
Higher hertz is more intense though, isn't it? Same as normal radio stuff, right?
Yes, let's
The
keep it
lower stuff, the further it can go, but the weaker it is.
yes, let's keep it at the way it was. Same hertz level it was.
If they get closer, let's fucking pump it up.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we've put it back, but we haven't turned it on again. Do we want to make sure it wasn't attracting them? They haven't just left now?
I mean, that was my theory, but yeah. I mean,
Because if they left
To do
because they're
that,
no
you-
longer being attracted to this area, then turning it back on is just going to make this place a threat again.
Who's on Overwatch?
I am.
Look.
Yes.
I'll look again.
Still nothing. I mean, it's been 5 minutes.
There's
Since you
there's
checked
nothing.
last.
There's nothing here. I can't see any new zombies. I don't see any.
It's a hilly area. If you see them, they're going to basically be on us.
Do we?
Makes sense.
Do we
It's like,
want to
if we
get
don't
up
turn it
on
on
the top
now,
of
they might get fucking way closer.
Well, but so yeah.
Or might come back?
Does someone want to go up to the top?
Yeah.
of
Do
the
we
hill?
want to get to the top of the hill and?
Somebody go for a run.
Join me for a jog, Nick.
I can go for a run. Yeah,
Okay, all right. Nick,
have you guys come back here yet, or are you're still at the perimeter?
We're at the perimeter.
Okay, that's cool.
So we'll leave. So, Frank, if we start sprinting back this way quickly, hit that green button on this thing.
okay, all right. You've put it back in the ground?
Yeah.
In the same
And
place? Okay.
put the dial as approximately as I can to where it was when we started.
Okay, all right. Seem to be down that way? Down left-hand side? Yeah.
Worst case, I'll put it slightly more to the it made me sick side.
Okay, so up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
If I need to,
Or safer than sorry.
yeah, side of caution.
Okay, cool. So, Dan and Nick, you start running up. Skulk and V, you see them running up towards the hill, towards the bloody hill. By the time you make it up there, you're both pretty fit, but you feel,
Wouldn't be pushing myself too hard.
yeah. I mean, you've stayed pretty fit, but you did also spend a long time without a lot of activity.
Yeah.
Nick, you make it up there a little bit easier, but you're still a little bit out of breath by the time you reach the top of the bloody hill, which is up here. So you make it up towards where the tree is, and then you realize you're gonna have to go a little. Well, there's two options. One, there is like a little bit of a step ladder type thing up this tree. That's an option.
How much? I think
Versus just walking further to
walk further,
crest the hill.
I think. Just crest the hill.
Chris the hill. There's no point going up the tree.
Okay.
I'm not going to see that much more.
Just means if we get caught out guard, we don't have to jump out of a tree.
You do notice though, when you go past the tree here, once you're kind of going over, there are horse hooves all around here, and many
Tree climbing horses.
imprints, sometimes of bare feet, sometimes of boots and shoes. There's still a rope that's left kind of limply around the bottom of the tree. A rag, and something else that was over Ismail's mouth. You walk over the hill, kind of wading through the longer grass, through some of the brambles and the gorse that started growing through it now, clamber over one of the old farm fences and crest the hill, looking out across all of these rolling grassy hills that have kind of semi been taken back by nature. And you see shambling dark shapes, untold numbers, walking to greet you.
Coming this direction.
Coming
What do you see?
pretty much right this way.
Immediately,
It's kind of almost,
Frank,
there's
turn it
like a
on.
sinking sensation in your stomach when you see it.
I just immediately turn and start bolting the other way.
This is you look, and for a second you're like, I can count. No, you can't count it. You're going to be there for a while. And even further still, looking back towards the other hills, you can just see, sometimes in clumps, other times spread apart, just these groups that just seem to be moving in towards here.
I don't run just yet.
Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands.
Easily hundreds.
Of thousands.
Okay.
It's a lot of people.
Easily hundreds.
Yeah. It's like if like most of a school year, like for us, was off doing orienteering around a field, kind of all spread out.
Like a sports day all in one place.
Yep, sports day all in one place. So if you took all the people that are at Howard College, or were, yeah, might be looking at something like that, spread across this
Get
area.
on the walk-in. There is a lot of dead coming this way. Frank, turn it on.
Watch them and see what it does.
I will.
Places it back in, turns it back on, starts to back away from it.
Is it on?
He's waiting. It's on. And as he's saying that, you can hear all on your RTs. This is. And he stops speaking.
I just wait and watch the.
Yep.
Watch the
Both Nick and Dan, you're just watching them.
ready to bolt at any moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's none immediately close to you, but
Yeah.
they seem to be heading in the exact same direction.
Is the frequency different? Like the sound?
Sounded a little bit different, yeah. Yeah.
It sounded
We
different
need
to me. We needed
indicate
it.
what it was.
Yeah.
There may be an exact frequency
Yeah.
we need to hit.
Our thing goes. The sound that came through sounds different.
I'll adjust it. I'll shift it. I'll shift it. You can hear it on this, right? You tell me when it sounds
Yep.
right.
Was it left or right that made me feel worse?
It was right that made you feel worse.
Try slightly to the left.
He starts to bring it back down, and it just ends up being very similar to what it was before. You hear it call back through, and it's just this. Just a little bit more interspersed.
What's happening with the horde?
Doesn't seem like there's any change.
No change.
I pull out my big radio.
Okay, you pull out the big one. You go back inside your shed, close the
just
door
do it
behind
here.
you.
Screw it.
Oh, okay.
Oh fuck!
Don't need to hide anymore.
Okay. So in your like out of the pack type thing. Okay, you put it down. You see this portable radio unit go down with this like quite sizable battery pack that's on it. Skulk takes out some headphones, attaches it, turns the thing on. Second that you turn it on, Skulk, it's just
That wasn't there this morning.
Nope, it was not.
I tell you just out front, like they turned this on like now. I activated this radio this morning. The sound wasn't in there.
But we've been watching all day.
Do you want this on or do you want it off?
Just give me like 30 seconds. Just turn it off.
Okay. 30 seconds, right?
I turn back the radio on, and I go.
Okay,
to
yeah, you can hear.
frequency.
He walks over. You see him like adjusting something. He's just like adjusts it. Calls back through. She's off.
Okay, I
You still
turn it-
hear.
Well,
When he radioed through, was there anything on his come through?
On Frank's? No. Clear as a bell. Clear as a bell.
There's another one nearby.
Makes sense that there'd be more of them.
It's probably like 3 or something.
Is it unbearable for me to hear it?
It's uncomfortable. You have volume, so you can just
Okay.
pull it down. But like what you usually have it up at, you know, it has comfortable listening volume. Is unbearable. But
How-
you can just
How long
turn it
ago
back down.
was this clear?
First thing this morning.
So you can hear another one.
How long ago has that been?
Move in a direction. If it gets louder, keep going that way. If it gets quieter,
What?
turn.
I'm on the roof.
He's
mate.
got the high-powered radio on the roof.
It's still portable, right?
How long ago?
I pick
Yeah.
it up.
What time
Yeah.
of day is it?
Move just to the other side of the roof.
Everyone
Okay.
with hand radios, start walking around.
Okay. All right.
start walking around.
Activity. Okay. All right. So yeah, everyone. Now here's the tricky thing. You can only have the channel open. This is where it's tough. You kind of realize after a second that like when you're holding it down, obviously you can't hear. Everyone else can hear.
Yeah.
But if everyone transmits at the same time, no one's listening.
Yeah.
So after a few calls are made, and once Frank kind of calls through, you kind of end up pairing up as best you can. So you get buddies. So like one person will have it open, the other person will be listening.
I'm doing it on the big one.
Yeah, and you're doing it on the big one, moving around. Once you kind of like put the other radios back on, everyone that has the smaller ones, you're kind of listening, you're kind of moving around the general area, not hearing anything. Same thing, like when you guys, when Nick and Dan, when you guys are arting back, they're not hearing anything from your end. But Skulk, you are definitely picking something up.
And does it change for him when he moves around?
When Skulk moves around, it doesn't seem to. It's just this ever-present sound.
And it doesn't change how
Doesn't-
I move on the roof.
Doesn't seem to. No, not on the roof.
Okay, I just call through the Great Barrier and I just say, Great Barrier, come in. This is Goat Island. We found your infrasonic devices.
motherfucker.
Wait for a time.
We've disabled one of them. We found. Well, I know there's more. Do these attract? Just say it. Do these attract or do they repulse the undead?
Waiting. Still waiting.
I count down from 30.
No response.
Alright, I
We
go.
need to check near the
Shoot.
the beach gate.
Shoot. In the air. You got a gun? You got a pistol? What, yeah, pistol.
I gave it to Ismail.
Oh, fucking Ismail.
You guys are actually getting closer and closer now. At this point, because you've just been kind of sailing in the same direction. You are getting closer back towards Goat Island.
Can we get the full Goat Island back on the screen?
Jen, do you have your pistol?
Yeah. So she's like, at this point, she's just still been looking over the back, watching these things.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Shoot in the air.
Shoot.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Gotta get that horde back this way. We gotta turn back around, start shooting. Just every now and again, start bringing back. We need the second chance now in the sound system. Otherwise, everyone else dies.
And I just radioed to Frank. Just turn it back on, man. There's already one more here.
Right. Goes back. Turns it back on.
Zoom out slightly so we can see just to the outer fence. And where was it we found the first one?
The first one you found over by the burrows, which were over here.
So we need to check around this end of the. If there's only a couple
There's circumference around.
that have to be, yeah.
The thing you have to remember, with yours, you had to get quite close
Yeah.
before it came up on the RTs. Or at
Yeah.
least it seemed that way.
I tell Bedan. I say.
I'll also be looking for.
Oh, I'll just say right. I'll take my radio unit down to the front gate.
Okay.
Okay.
Nick, do you reckon you could get back up top and you know what you're looking for now? Have a good look around?
Can do, but my concern is us turning it off has triggered something rather than there being more.
Either that or we haven't actually done a step. Maybe it's harder to turn on than it is to turn off.
Yeah, you could be right.
I'm shooting then?
The horde's going towards them.
I radio say if I find another one, I'll see exactly what frequency is on, so we can match the frequency exactly.
Cool.
And we'll turn around
Does
and
hear like a light crack.
we'll try to draw the horde away.
Alright. Godspeed.
Soon as that gunfire cracks, Jen's like looking up, looking around. Fuck, where'd they go? Scott, you're still staring. Looking behind, Jake kind of moved to the side.
Ducking right
No more
the fuck down.
no more dorsal fins. In the water. None. The pod, whatever was following you, doesn't seem to be there. Jen had her eyes on them pretty much the whole time until she looked up and fired away.
Well, they're either scared of bullets or we got close enough to that sound, or I have no idea.
Scott, roll perception for me. As Jake and Jen are kind of like. Now you said you were crouching down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, like where on the boat would you be crouching down?
In the middle.
In the middle.
No.
Okay.
No, it would be sort of on the side.
Any
behind.
modifier?
No, this is flat. This is
What's
you
this
kinda, like,
perception?
looking behind, looking up.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well,
I've already done that.
Yeah.
22 pass.
Nice.
Okay, alright. You are going to get the chance to make a drive check. Because, like, as you look around and look back, you see a large thing emerge out of the water directly in front of your boat. Like, pale white. It breaks through the water, much larger than a dolphin. And it seems to be coming headlong towards the bow of the boat. You might have a chance to be able to start to try and turn towards the side, but this thing has positioned itself directly in front of the boat.
Basic maneuvers.
Shoot it!
Basic maneuvers.
Do a barrel
You have a
roll.
chance.
Do I get a negative on my drive?
Do you get a negative on your drive? Well, just it's kind of like a mental skill. You are using, I mean, like you're using your arms here, but yeah, it's
You'll still get your head penalties.
28.
Man, how did you drive?
53. $56.
okay. Scott.
So I literally rolled double what I needed
Yeah,
to do.
Scott, Jake, and Jen will all be making athletics checks as the boat impacts what feels like a rock at the front, and there is just a jerk of the boat's momentum coming to a stop
Darkest timeline.
as it hits something hard and solid in the front.
Fail.
Okay,
Pass.
all right.
Failed by 29.
Okay. As this happens, the boat kind of just jostles slightly to the side, and Scott, you are thrown off your feet. You hit the floor and start sliding to the side, but manage to catch yourself just by the front of the boat. You're in the center. Jen, standing at the back of this thing, looking out towards, is thrown. You see her topple. She starts to go over the side, but catches with her hand and pulls herself on. She's hanging on there at this stage, at the back of the boat.
I want to try. I
I'll
want
help.
to try with all my fucking power.
Okay, your athletics is 80, correct? Let's roll athletics. Let's roll athletics.
So you know what athletics the thing's got?
Jesus.
Okay.
32.
Ooh,
No.
mine was nearly a very sexy number.
4. Right? That's
You start rushing towards Jen. You start running towards her as she's just like kind of holding. She started going over. She's holding onto the back of the railing as the whole boat starts to jostle. As the water behind her starts to part.
Except it ain't Moses.
It could be.
The dolphin's called Moses.
Could have been.
It's bigger than dolphin.
The whale's called.
Okay.
Zombie killer whales. Zombie orcas. Like character sheet for them. He's got a fucking character sheet for zombie orcas.
That'll be Jen.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
No, this is Jen's character sheet.
That makes a lot more sense. My brain is not
Don't like
working.
that look on his
So what are
face.
the numbers
though.
I can work out for you?
Don't like the look on his face.
Okay.
You'll just have to see what it looks like.
Okay, I've just
The effects.
I figured it out already. Okay,
It's bad.
so all right, no, that's not too bad actually.
It doesn't like have any filter whatsoever on his face.
Yeah, no, it could have been a lot worse. In fact, so
Yeah, we could be fighting a killer whale.
Two
Um,
killer whales.
right, so she's
Some
kind of like
of them have, right?
holding on the back as the water parts, and you just see this large creature starting to come out the water and go right up towards Jen. Her arm is back. She doesn't see it behind her, and its mouth encloses down and around her hand and starts to pull her back, and she just instinctively pulls just as it's starting to close, and there is a gash along the side. Actually, chainmail. No, it starts to close. It starts to close. The chainmail takes away damage.
Yeah.
And she like pulls it through as some of the chains just like you just see them kind of get semi-caught as she brings her arm out and around, and this thing just drops back down into the water, and she just looks towards you as she reaches out and grabs your hand. You pull her back in towards the boat. The boat just kind of
The king.
we've come full circle.
Oh, that's good.
Oh god. Yeah, you pull her back up and she's just, what the fuck was that? As the boat kind of just starts to
We're just like,
Stop
zombie killer
jostling.
whale, zombie killer whale, zombie killer whale. Fuck this, beach the cunt.
the boat is now effectively stationary at this point. And you just take a second, you look all around you. The water was like disturbed by the boat's momentum. Peeking over the front, there is nothing at the front of this boat. And you're just kind of stuck there.
Let's move.
Yeah, I get back up to my feet as fast as I can.
Everyone into the center of the boat. You're
Right.
right.
Are you right?
I no, I'm fine. I'm somehow fucking fine.
Go, Scott. Go.
Okay. You go back up
Sails.
towards it. Yeah, she goes over and starts like pulling them again, and it does catch the wind again, and you start to pick up speed. You don't see them. No sign of them. The boat slowly starts to move. As you start making your way in towards this bay, you can see the familiar sight of that yellow plane that's been sitting out there. Yeah. Who would have fucking known? And one other yacht you see still
You see Charles.
still moored. Yeah. What took you so long? Okay, you said you were going to beach this, yeah?
Those abysmal perception checks. I went straight
Past
past you.
Yeah. You bring this thing straight through here.
He was what you hit.
right past the plane. Now, as you start to make your way into these waters, and they're deep, but this is very clear water. As you do, out of that depth, you see a pod of maybe 4 to 5 stark white killer whales that are following behind your, and you can see that that one will go close for a while, follow you, and then just slowly start to fall back. Another one shoots off towards the plane for a second, and then just like comes back towards the ship, and some of them start to just sway, and you can just make out that there is a tail beneath the boat.
For a beach.
Okay, yeah. That is not. That's
Which we're
all
not
rocks.
there yet.
It's all rocks.
Which we're not there yet.
This is all solid rock. Beach is all the way over here.
You don't need a beach to beach something.
And you start to pull through.
Like,
we
beach it on the cliff.
Scott, at what stage are you going to try and bring this boat on? Are
As
you
soon
going
as I
for the
see
beach?
an incline that allows us to get off the boat.
Okay.
Without being right next to water.
Okay.
Right on water.
Where the ladder is, there's a ladder here. It's high tide. The water's right up on the rocks. You could
Or you could crash it against
crash
the cliff.
this thing up against the rocks, and you might have a chance to get across and onto the rocks, then onto the ladder.
But on the rocks is still potentially in water, which will allow dolphins to get to us.
Killer whales. And yes, they can sort of come on.
Well, I mean, like the next
Killer whale won't get onto that shallow.
the
Have
rocks.
you ever been to SeaWorld?
The
Killer
rocks.
whales
They
can
do
some-
come onto beaches.
The rocks are next to. They don't also have the hotline with them. There are rocks. They're next to water. Whether or not you decide to go for that, it's up to you.
It's just hard
But
to
you know,
visualize.
you know the ladder is there. Okay, so right over that side, further away, nice coastal beach. You have rocks, semi-jagged, but with the speed that you're going at the moment, you might be able to get the boat up on there for like a moment or two, enough time for you to get off the boat and onto the rocks. But it will be like I'm going to run and jump off this boat onto these rocks.
The rocks, the rocks.
This is like an instant decision now as you're in here and you have
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
If they hit us,
Okay.
we stop, and we're fucked.
Oh, because I know I'm gonna fail it.
you have a GM sigil, my friend, for this action
Those are worth a plus 50 when used, right?
that you can use to it. So you're going to get a plus 25 to your drive skill as you
Which just evens it out.
fly this thing
It's
in.
just-
Let's go 50
Okay.
50 sharp now.
Let's see how we do. And just like you can see what Scott's doing. You brace yourself as best you can. Jen does the same.
literally 10 over.
Oh! No, your drive. It's a flat roll with your GM sigil. That's a crit.
That's 63.
Oh, damn it!
Ah.
Looks like a 5 from here.
Let's go for what he said.
So close. Now, how much did you fail by?
10.
10.
10 exactly.
Okay. All right. So at this point, the boat
I was hoping for a crit. Just didn't.
grinds up on the side. You have a moment now where the two of you and Jen can attempt to make it off the boat and onto the rocks. It is going to require an athletics check, and you are getting a minus 10 to that roll. To that skill, to your skill.
I'm just yelling, go, go!
And you see, like Jen looking back down to the water. You can see just that water just and just these blurry white shapes just coming in fast towards your boat.
Fucking
Okay.
running, and I'm gonna
Jake,
jump and
you go first. You're the first one.
Sigilizing.
Okay. Oh my god, girl.
It's plus 14. 95. Oh, please roll a 96.
Solo action.
She does not
61.
have. She had 61 success.
Yep.
Jake, you run up. You almost like parkour leap off the side, the railing of the boat, down onto the rocks. Jen is running after you,
So
looking
grab a
back
ladder,
towards
I am
Scott.
Hand out.
Okay, I mean ladder is close, but it's not quite within reach yet. You will be able to make it, but the others are making their jump before you
Alright, sorry,
make
we're
it
jumping onto rocks,
physically
aren't we?
too.
Yeah.
Jumping onto the rocks, and the
Yeah.
rocks are by the ladder, so it's
Alright,
close.
so I
Yeah.
just want to be able to grab him.
Okay. All right. Okay. Jen starts to run and jump over the side. As the boat's still in motion, still moving, she makes it over, but then starts to topple as she does, and she comes down hard on the rocks, rolling to the side. You can see that obviously she hasn't cut herself on the chainmail, but she whacked her head back as she did, and she's unsteady there for a second. As Scott, what are you going to do in this instant?
Into the ocean.
Oh god. I'm just gonna roll
You've
for
just
this.
seen Jen go over the front of the boat, and you do not see her.
Do I see it?
You do.
Right.
You see her down on the rocks, but Scott, you're at the helm of the ship, and you've seen her just go down over the other side, and she's not back up yet, and you're in that moment of motion.
Really want to make it? You're not the one to make the sacrifice play, Joe.
I'll try.
What are you
What's your
going to
athletics?
try? Oh, you're gonna go over.
I'm gonna fail.
All right, go for it, buddy.
No, you're fine. You got this.
Yeah, because I have to roll 15 or under.
Well,
Easy.
minus 25,
I've done that.
minus 10.
Minus 10, so yeah. Okay, so I need to roll 5 or under.
You got this. You got this.
Easy. It's a whole 5%.
It's a, imagine it's
Don't
like you
don't
have
let
to
the
roll a
negative. You
20.
made your decision.
Just roll one of
Go
them.
for it. Go for it.
Easier.
You got it. Simple.
No way! 4!
Oh God!
Told you you had that.
Shit.
Nicely done.
Jesus Christ.
As the boat's starting to
man.
turn away, Scott waited for a second, starts to run towards the edge, and just leaps off, bam, down, landing on the rocks, but landing steady, and Jen is there at your feet. You reach down, grasping to pick her up and start to move her in. As you do, Scott, behind you, as the boat is moving to the side, the water starts to break. As something leaves the water behind. You've got Jen in your arms, you've pulled her back up onto her feet. The ladder is within sight, Jake is close, he's looking back towards the rest of you. Out the corner of your eye, you see just this great
Which direction?
white creature coming towards you. Just out the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to your right, you
Correct
see.
direction.
You see, and Jen's still within your arms, but you see this thing, and it's coming out, and it's coming straight towards the two of you. You have an instant to take an action. What will that be?
Pressure in front of
Throw Jen towards Jake and jump towards the like towards into the water. Like not towards its mouth. but,
Okay,
like,
yeah. So
into the
effectively,
water.
that's going to be like it's going to be like a dodge. So like with Jen, your hands, you push her off in the direction of Jake. She kind of like stumble runs towards where Jake is. This thing is up in the air, coming towards you, almost Free Willy style. Roll athletics for me, my friend.
Come on, do that again.
You don't have the 10 this time.
Yeah,
Yes,
so it's
it's
15.
Oh, you get a plus 10 because you're dodging.
Hey!
Oh, 25.
But you said you were jumping towards the water, correct? Okay, yep. Also confirm for me, do you or do you not have your spit axe with you?
I don't have
Okay, alright.
70.
That's a fail. A million.
Fail by
45.
by 45.
Which means you don't hit the ocean, you just jump over the rocks.
I
So
just
that's getting added
I
onto the
trip.
attack value.
I trip on spot.
Okay.
Your artificial leg gives away.
Yeah.
Why is there a dog on? Spot the dog.
Oof.
See?
Yeah, I know. Okay, right. You have armor. I will tell you right now that this is 82 damage, which is over limb destroyed.
Is that after the armor or?
That is before the armor. Now, this is torso, which is armored. So that's going to take that down from limb destroyed to grievous, because that's what, minus 25 for your armor, correct? That takes it down to a 57, which is grievous. As Scott, you throw Jen out towards the side and you turn back towards this thing as it comes down with its mouth and it just bites down in. You feel something in here crack. As it just clamps down, you feel these teeth like digging into you. It slaps down onto the rock as it starts to almost ravel back into the water. Jake,
Am I still in its mouth?
Jen's reached you. Yes, you are still in its mouth.
Can I do something?
You can do something.
Can I grab my kukri out of my leg and stab the fuck out of this thing?
Yes, you can.
Wouldn't
Yes,
your
you
legs be
can.
inside his mouth?
Yes, you
My
can.
armors. I've got both arms.
Yeah, he's got his torso. So effectively, what it's done is like it's gone bam down like that. So his leg is still out here. So it's
Right.
out the other side of his mouth. So he can try to grab that kukri and just start going ham. Go for it.
In the eye!
Go for it.
So fight.
Fight the guy. As a wise man once said.
So 25. Do I get a bonus because I'm inside of it?
I wouldn't call this a superior position. I mean, the thing is, you're close. It depends.
It's on land.
It depends on what
Not
you're.
it's
Yep.
land-dwelling mammal, so
That,
maybe
that is
very-
true. It's still trying to make its way back in. You are very close to it. You effectively can't miss it. It's just as to how much damage you would do. I would imagine you are aiming for the head, as that's really the only thing that you can hit from here.
I'm not aiming. I can't take another penalty.
No, I know. But if
Well, you won't miss.
Yeah.
narratively, this is going to be the head, no matter what. There's no way that you can't hit the head. This thing is so large. So at this stage, it's like, yes, you are going to hit, but it will depend on how much damage as to where that is. I will say, in this instance, because you are not choosing to push yourself away, you're staying in it, you will get a superior position to this. Because you are right next to this thing's head.
What weight is the weapon?
I'm already working it out between each, and then I get a plus 48.
Yes, plus 40.
60.
Do what you can.
35 pass.
35
So that's
pass.
a total of 45 damage.
Okay. Okay, so you reach down, you do manage to get your kukri out, but as you try to just bring it down into the skin of this thing, you're looking to the side, trying to see if there's an eye, if there's something. Not being able to see an eye, you just try and slash in towards it, and you do manage to get something of a gash into it, but it doesn't seem to really find anything that might make it release you at this stage. You have got the kukri into it, but it just, yeah, it wasn't enough. And so with that, Jake,
Can I grapple it?
this thing is effectively just like starting to flop back down into the water as the boat is just kind of still semi up on the rocks and rocking back in. This is all happening just in an instant.
Can I sort of grapple Scott?
Releasing
retrieve
Jen
him.
to try and pull him out
Yeah.
of it. Yep, I will. Yep, you can rush towards as this is happening.
Why don't I have?
No, I'm trying to-
Why don't I have a frag grenade?
Oh my god, I know. I know.
Dude! That would be
Hey, you want something to eat?
You start rushing in, Jake, to grab him, to pull him out. Remember though, you don't always have to damage things. Sometimes just getting something.
Yeah, so
Is the best option.
I want to grapple Scott
Okay.
out, basically.
All right, it's going to be your grapple.
From charging?
Yeah, that's the opposite direction though. You're wanting to try and pull him away from it, and then we'll see how bad that is for you.
Getting stretched.
Can't be
Okay.
any worse than the situation I'm in.
Oh, it could.
Okay, so Jake, I will say we will do a grapple to initiate,
Just
and
changes
then
the
it's going to be
kind of
might
bad it
versus
is.
Oh,
might.
my god. Wait till I might
Now the question is, it's, are you stronger than a killer whale?
Oh my god. 93. Pass.
Oh, yes!
My grapple's 94.
That's good. That is very good. It's so good, in fact, that I am tempted to allow you to roll grapple against this time to see if you are going to be successful. You managed to grab a hold of Scott successfully. A really good grab. As you start to try and pull back against this thing, we'll see if that grapple will hold. You start pulling him as this thing is rocking back down into the water. This kind of eye finds you for a moment as you are trying to pull Scott off, and Scott's still got that kukri stuck in it. Stop. God damn it, guys, come on. He's not trying to tug you. He's just pulling you.
I'm pulling you off. Yeah?
Okay, you got a good grip. You got right in underneath his arms, and you just start trying to pull out. And Scott, you start to like twist to the side, and then you feel like something lodges in there as you are getting him out, but your leg gets trapped in that point, and Jake, you just pull as this thing twists and turns to the side and rolls. Scott, you feel a release, a pop, a separation as you roll backwards. Jake, this giant creature drops back down into the water. Scott, your prosthetic leg is not with you, but you are with Jake. And as that salt spray hits you and you still see others around there, you start to just pull Scott towards a ladder. Jen runs out to help as well, and you all make your way back up towards it as the boat just starts to slowly capsize, twist and turn into the water. These shapes continue to move around here, quickly spinning backwards and forwards. As you make your way back up towards the ladder, and you start clambering back up. Scott, I need you to make a Constitution roll for me. Just flat. No other negatives. It's just
So no negatives at all?
no negatives at all. Just as it is.
22.
Okay. All right. As you're carrying Scott, you're making him like go up towards it. There's a moment where he. This is more you, Scott. Actually, it's not going to be as visible, but you do feel that same sensation that hit you last night hit you again, and it is just this. That adrenaline that was there before, everything, it starts to just subside, and there's just this kind of weakness that comes over you. Inexplicably so. And then there's almost a pain, an incredibly sharp pain, deep within your head. For a second, like a knife dug in. And then you kind of just shake your head, and your blood continues to flow. And you're okay. You find your hand on the ladder, with Jake putting his ass under your shoulder, just pushing you up as Jen is getting ahead of you to help you up on the other side. The three of you collapse there with the graveyard in front of you. All the others that you've lost along the way, their names on those crosses, and you all just stop kind of breathless, taking a moment.
I starfish.
You starfish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Some of you heard a little bit of commotion outside. Eventually,
Yeah, it's not over yet.
Frank pops over the fence, seeing you all there, comes around, helps you
not
get
searching
back
with us?
inside.
Yeah,
Back
'cause-
inside.
He was all the way up the wheat fields with.
How long ago, though?
Yeah, because we've been doing like.
Oh, you've been trapped. The traps have already gone in place.
No,
You've been
we're-
sweeping with
we're
the
minesweeping.
RTs.
And with with my big radio.
Dan and Nick are still up the hill. You're still sweeping. So you don't know where he was. Yeah. So he could have been sweeping around that area. And turns out, fortuitously, he was. And he's allowed to let you back inside. The sweeping
As
continues.
it comes by, he would just see me on the ground. I'd just be like, "That's a fucking killer whale."
Scott, you are relatively sure that you've broken multiple ribs in your chest.
And I think I've broken a few ribs in my chest.
Jen just comes over. She where you're on the ground, just kind of full on embrace and just stays there for a while and just just pulls back a bit and you just stay there for a little while. The sweeping. With the RTs, with the buddy ups. You're not physically next to each other, but you're on the same. And you just kind of keep on cycling through, trying to see if you can find where anything else might be.
I'm still up on the roof.
Yeah.
Keep perimeter, doing the whole thing. And I'm constantly checking back with with these guys to see how much closer the hole's gotten.
Yeah. The only RT that's been able to detect the sound so far has been yours.
My big one.
Your big one. And you keep moving around and it's almost a consistent level.
Nowhere in our compound has it changed.
You said you were heading up towards where they were to check on the horde, or you were just trying to check from where you are, because they're actually up on the hill.
I would have radioed through and asked them, do you need someone up there, or should I stay down here?
Oh, I said stay where you are.
Stay where you are.
No, I'll stay where I am. And then I'll just do a perimeter check. How close is the horde?
How close is the horde?
Closer.
Closer.
And there seems to be more appearing from the distance.
At this point, I suggest to Nick, if anyone's going to spot these things, it's you. You should head down there, see if you can see any others join in the search. I'll keep everyone filled in from up here.
You do know that the best vantage point in this entire area is right where you are now.
Yep.
But not quite. You're up on the hill, but what can see further than the hill is the tree that's on the bloody hill.
Okay, I'll climb the tree. It's all right to see some more from up there for a time, and I'll just scout with everyone else.
Okay.
I get up to the tree.
You need the most religious person in the compound to go turn on the cars.
Okay, so while this is happening, Nick, you start to make your way back towards the tree, and there are little footholds that have been placed in there. Skulk does have part of your comms network that's a little bit higher up. Nick, you start climbing up, moving up this thing. While you are on one of the branches, as you're kind of making your way up there, you can see it looks like one of them has been snapped off, and it looks pretty fresh. You can see a bit of blood, but it's dry on there, and a tiny bit of fabric, and it seems to be camouflage of some kind, just like your regular kind of forest camouflage.
Okay. I'll continue my climb. Scout.
Continue up further, climbing further up. You can see there is something a little bit higher up, where Skulk has a little antenna system up there. Although Nick, with how good your passive perception is, really, even though it's not so much a thing, but You got a spotting thing. So you keep climbing up, trying to get to the highest point. You see something atop the tree.
Transmit.
I see a black metal thing.
You see a black metal thing.
Okay. I'll do the whole turn off thing and see if that helps.
I'm gonna need you to roll a will check for me as you start to get closer to this thing.
3.
Okay, you're able to keep on pushing on. Pushing through this thing, getting closer towards it. What are you going to attempt to do with it?
Just turn it off.
Turn it,
Call in.
turn it off.
That helps.
How are you going to try and turn it off? There is a dial, there is a green button, and there is a red button. Okay, hit the red button. That sickening feeling seems to go away.
No radio into skull. Or do we not get skull? That help?
You check. I mean, like, when you don't hear anything coming through from him, you put on your headphones, you check. It's clear.
No, that was the last. That was the only other one. What was the readout on the thing? What frequency was it pumping out?
I can take a look.
It didn't so much as have a readout on it, but it like the other one did. But the dial was as low as it could possibly go.
Okay.
So I bring it back. The hole is as low as it could go on this one.
I trudge back to where the other one is and check its dial.
That's been fiddled with a few times, but having trudged back and checking on it, it seems to be approximately a quarter of the way from the bottom. It's
I put it as low as I put it
Yeah.
as low as it can go.
low as it can go.
Turn
Okay.
it on and then just rush back.
Okay, you turn it on, start rushing back.
I'll
Do you
radio-
feel like the kind of
Wa-
sickening
watching
feeling coming over?
the horde.
While
as
he's
soon as I
trudging
heard
back,
them
I'll-
talking.
Yeah, while we were trudging back, I would have radioed in through to Nick. Did that change the horde's behavior?
Yeah, so both Nick,
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been watching them this.
both
whole time.
both Nick and Dan, like Dan, you've been kind of seeing them the same way. Behavior seems to be the same. Nick, you can see a lot further up this tree. You can see many fields over, and you just see these black dots that still seem to be coming this way. It's difficult to make out that kind of movement at a distance, but looking at the ones that are closer, doesn't seem to have changed. It's like it's almost
There's a lot more further out and they all seem to be coming this way.
It's almost like ants just making their way towards that big hump of sugar.
Is everything's off now?
Well, I'm like on my way, so yeah.
Seemingly.
There's a lot.
If we just
might-
quickly
yep.
check if we both turn them on at the same frequency, what happens? And I put
Give it a go. I'll try and turn it on. And
yeah.
Okay,
I
at the
think
low,
lowest.
at the lowest again. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, it's incredibly sickening being as close to this. Incredibly nauseous, almost giving you a headache. At this point, you both get them on at the same frequency.
No, I'm watching.
My radio, does it change anything?
You watch for a while. No change.
And them both off.
Both off.
turn it off.
Yep. You wait. No change.
No change.
We might have to start thinking about defending the place or leaving.
Are you
Gotta go.
able
There's no
to?
defending this.
Are you able to bring that thing out of the tree? Do you think, Nick? If you had a hand?
I'm taking off mine now.
I'll give it a try, yeah. If something's at the bottom, I can just drop it.
Because
Lower it down.
whether these are attracting or repelling, if they are by chance repelling, if we have them with us, at the very least, they'll protect right next to us. If we need to turn them off or on, we can't do that if we leave them.
I potentially. Go ahead, Nick.
I just think fair point.
The potentially the frequencies might keep them in their current state. So maybe since they've been aggressed,
Yeah, it's a possibility.
it's just a theory though.
A film theory.
I remember films.
Back in the day.
Look, we have to go. There's no way now we can fight these things, and we ain't going by boat.
Right. So what? The other, where the cars? I'll see if I can go turn them on.
That signal hasn't moved in the last hour. That ping.
Where is it? Where is it?
The map? Matakana.
I've got some bad news. All our fuel is at the main gate.
We can roll the cars down.
Yeah.
We can get these cars going.
That's only if the cars work in the first place.
Old batteries, no maintenance, weather for 5 years.
You'd say they haven't been used in a good 3.5.
Still though.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm coming back to you, Nick. We'll see if we can get this thing out of the tree either way.
Flat tires and all that crap.
Cool. Sounds good.
What if those? What if this wasn't the military? What if this was Auckland? Whichever Auckland it was. The three that snuck into the camp the other day. What if this was them?
Unless we can open this later, but unless there's a timer, they are
only set
literally here
recently.
right now. This
Or at
wasn't.
least only on right now.
Yeah, but the thing is,
They were turned on.
They were turned on. If it's a manual thing, the people who did it is literally right here, with us right now. This wasn't on this morning. They weren't on this morning. They came in and I looked everywhere. I didn't see any of these things.
We've been on watch all morning.
Well, it seems there's only 2 of them, sir.
They weren't on watch all morning. We went down. We went inside. There's more than enough time for someone to sneak in from outside, plant them, get out.
Those 3 were definitely dead in the caravans.
Yeah, we finished them all off.
Let's see the
Right.
gate.
This wouldn't be Auckland. Auckland
Go.
would just kill us.
Alright, we need to check
Unless
all
there's
of the
some-
cars.
Unless there's something in Matakana that they want and they're trying to get the zombies out of there. First the zombie magnet was destroyed.
Was the truck.
There's easier ways. They could have just lit the fuel on fire. This is something like Great Barrier would do.
Either
You
way,
know best.
we either need to get out of here
That's what we're gonna do.
or
That's it.
defend us
Yep.
like shit. So we
There
need
is
to
no
check those
defending.
cars
There
first.
is no defending
If
this.
the cars don't work, that's probably our only option.
So-
I start walking to like the very end gate.
Yeah. What's the plan then? What's the exit?
Start walking.
We can get these cars going, or we start walking.
Look, I'll be honest. Those cars, give me 3-4 days, we can make it happen. We're not going to get them running today.
We have trolleys, right?
Yes, you have trolleys that you loaded the fuel on. And actual physical trolleys? Yeah, you'd have a few trolleys in your supply shed. The TARDIS. It's not shed, it's a warehouse.
I just go and say, we need someone in the storeroom now, packing all essentials, food, water, anything that's essential to our survival into trolleys.
I'm on it.
I don't know if there's any point of standing here watching the hills. We've got Nick and Dan all the way up there, so
No
I'll-
point.
yeah, I'll go help.
You can't stop that many.
Yeah, I'll go help whoever needs.
You start rushing back down towards the MDC, towards the home of these folks. Nick, you're still high up in that tree, and that sickening feeling is still there, but it's not coming from this sound creator. Dan, you were going to try and assist him from removing it?
Yeah.
No, it's from something else. It's the sight of that many things coming in this direction. Even over your flight, you never saw quite these numbers. This is something that it's incredibly unsettling. And Dan, as you're climbing up there as well to help with this, you're just looking out across all of those hills and just seeing all of those ants slowly making their way towards you. with a purpose.
I say to Dan, it's like, isn't it weird that all this is going this way? These must be flow attracting. Shouldn't we should just turn them on and get the fuck out of here? Like, why do we want to take these with us?
What if we turn this one on, since it's in a fucking tree, turn it on, leave it here, take the other one just in case, maybe we can see what happens as they get close. We might know better.
I think so.
Radio 3, like, they're coming this way anyway. These are fucking useful tools.
Yeah, but we don't want them to split up.
Also, they didn't say it over the radio.
Sorry?
He said he said it to Dan.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind.
The oil, like the petrol, they're at the end outside.
Yes,
Yep,
they're
just
at
inside.
this
Is
gate
it?
here. They're
Okay,
just down the
that's where
bottom.
I'm walking.
Yeah, kind of know where the tractor was this
Yeah, 'cause
morning.
the stupid fuckers are stupid. They're like, take it to the main gate. Cool.
Yeah,
Sweet as. Now you've moved to the main gate. Can you move it to the beach?
Hey, I mean, they didn't know what vehicles you had.
Yeah, I'm walking to those barrels. How many are there? 4, right?
There were 6.
We did a
Yeah,
few trips.
yeah,
so
there were 6. There were 3
We've got
trips.
some trolleys.
3
They're
trips.
saying let's get some extra water stored up. Let's get some jerry cans. Get as much fuel as we can.
Lulu and the kids are like they're loading things in the warehouse. They're getting things ready there. So those are trolleys. Yep. Everyone else is moving. Dan, Nick, you've got up the tree. You've been able to release this thing, if you wish.
What do you think?
I'm going to radio and just say, I've never seen a horde like this before, guys. I think these are definitely interacting with them. I reckon we just turn it on and leave. That way we know they're going towards it, or can be relatively sure.
Well, we've got 1.
Fair enough.
We don't want them splitting up.
Oh.
We can help it.
What plan for that?
Sort of staying away.
Is Jen close?
Yes. Yeah.
Jen, could you go get as many backpacks that we have spare or anything, and just make sure everyone's got their full supply of food and water on them as well?
Yeah. Day packs. Okay.
I'm not exactly mobile at the moment.
Just
Do we have more? Sorry, go.
take it easy, okay? We'll be back. Just kind of in the lounge area up by the pool table at the moment. She runs into the rooms and she starts packing everyone's individual packs, running them down to the kitchen, loading them up with a few days worth of food and water.
Do we have trailers of any kind?
Yes, there'd be one for the tractor.
What about loading up a trailer and having
and the
multiple
fact, yes,
people
there
haul
are
that thing?
multiple other trailers that were used by like the Pink Ute and some of the others to haul things. The kind of trailers that you would have found at like BP and stuff like that. So there's some caged in ones.
Yeah.
There are some others that aren't.
We're going up Parker Hill.
We can't.
Even if we can push it up, that would be exhausting. If anyone lost a grip, it's just going to go down.
True.
Look,
All right.
we'll get stuff sorted.
Only what you can carry then.
Yep. So you guys seem to have a few extra prosthetics. Was there other legs?
What's there other
After's
legs?
got a pig.
I cannot remember. I don't know. I think
the thing is, I'm pretty sure I used the last.
yeah.
because
Wow.
Dan's got one.
And there was one other one, and that went to Verdant.
Yeah. Sorry,
Because like
you got a little
Verdant,
leg.
yeah. So Verdant was saying to like Skulk, like, don't you want it? And like you were like, no, I'm going to. Yeah, because you already had lost yours. You just recently lost yours. You tried to offer it, and you were like, no, I'll be fine with a pig.
Well, you can use your spit axe for a crutch.
Oh yeah, my spit axe.
Still sitting out the front waiting for you.
It's been brought in.
Just say when I'm near the gatehouse.
Yes. Yeah, near the front. Skulk, I will also remind you that you. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
You might have some things.
Yeah, it's my backpack.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my backpack.
Oh no,
my bug bag.
I mean other. Yeah, you've got some other things buried outside.
Oh yeah, outside,
Yeah.
but that's like
Yeah.
well outside.
Yeah.
We'll find them on the way.
Like
Okay,
speakers
cool.
and stuff.
Okay, sweet as. Okay.
Yeah, no. But
All right.
my main bug bag I'm wearing. With all
Okay,
my
cool.
Essentials.
All right, cool. You start to move down towards the front of the gate. Yes. Yeah. Are you going all the way to the front of the gate?
Yeah, where the barrels are.
Yep, towards where the barrels are. Yes.
So as soon as I picked up that thing, I was just walking straight there.
Okay. All right. By this time, you'd be there once all this kind of commotion and action is taking place.
Fantastic. I'll pop the cap of one of the barrels and just tip it over.
Okay.
And also just roll it onto the grass away from the thing. There's 6 barrels, right?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
I did radio over. We're gonna fill some jerry cans.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was like, but yeah, a barrel.
Yeah.
One barrel will be enough. But I'll flip over. So there's 2 barrels from I'll flip over 4 barrels.
Okay.
Open them up, flip them over, and just roll them onto the grass.
Okay.
Barrels are like 240 liters or something.
I know, but I
Yeah.
need to tip the top. So.
Yeah. There is rolling them off. There is a lot. There's and the fuel just starts flowing out and over that region here by the front of by the front gate, down onto the grass here, down by the fence line.
It's coming down.
It's a little bit more difficult to get up there. You'd have to kind of roll it up and then kind of release it, and it will just kind of go downhill. Yeah.
As long as there's petrol to get it, I want just to
There's a
start it.
fair amount out there now. This is a lot of fuel
Man,
in
it's
each of these
gonna reek.
barrels. Yeah. Oh, it's a high heaven. Yeah.
You just want to start it?
The petrol will start it. The grass will catch. That's the thing. You just need a quick catch.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll also radio through. Make sure we're getting every last bit of medicine and ammo. Food might be difficult, but you can always grow it. Medicine and ammo, you can't. We're going to need that stuff.
In this panic, in this just moment of realizing that, oh shit, we've got to go. You all start trying to pull together as much as you can, to bring as much as you can, loading up 2 trolleys full of as much goods as you can, with Lulu, some of you going in to assist her with that, with the kids. Everyone else is moving around. Willow's grabbing medical supplies, putting it into a larger bag. The kids have their individual bags on. Jen has everyone else set up with their own bags from their room, little personal things as well.
We'll even go to the stage of like using tarpaulins and actually tying them to the trolley.
Yep, on the side.
Side
Yep, definitely. You try to get as much as you can loaded up and onto this thing.
How heavy were these speakers?
Oh, pretty light. Yeah, no, like they weren't incredibly heavy. There was heft to them. They felt expensive.
Okay.
They had weight to them.
Yeah, then I definitely grab the one that's in the ground. Leave it
Okay.
off, but
I've got it.
Yeah.
Like,
Scott's got that one. Yeah.
Because I was turning it on and off.
And the other one's
okay, so you picked it up and
Yeah,
okay.
I've got
the other one's been turned back on. It's been
Yes.
left in the tree, right?
Yeah.
Okay. At this stage, both Nick and Dan, you have come back down. Everyone's kind of getting ready, pulling up by the inner gate of this place. What's the plan from here?
Once we've got everything we want, including some automotive tools, so Frank can maybe help we get a vehicle going.
A wheelchair is brought out of the storeroom. Jen puts it down. Just for a little while we still have roads.
I'm specifically filling a bag with adhesives from the warehouse.
Okay.
All kinds of glues and the
Yeah.
strong ones first.
I will go over afterwards all the things that you grabbed. I'm going to set you loose in Bunnings' warehouse with a stopwatch. You grab as much as you can and you put it into your trolley, and that's what you have with you in Zealand.
Sweet.
Yeah. You set off, putting all your things as you can into these different trolleys, packing up as much as you can, getting ready to leave. As looking over towards the hills, you can see shadowy figures starting to crest it, making their way down towards here. In their hundreds, the ants start marching in.
I radio and
Hurrah,
say,
hurrah.
Yeah.
I radio and I say, guys, it's now or never. They're on the hill.
Yep.
Roll.
We go now.
Everyone pulls together. Your convoy, your human convoy, opens the gate, leaving it behind, moving towards the outer, towards where all the fuel is. You see one of the ships on its side. Looking out towards the water, you see the occasional spurts of water.
Did you guys have a seed store that you were growing your gardens and wheat out of?
I've got some in here, Lulu says.
Cool.
What remained?
Good.
You push out towards the front gate. It's opened. The place reeks of fuel here. Absolutely reeks of it.
Smell petrol.
smell some of you haven't smelled for a little while, so it's like, it's heady. You push on past it, through it, the gates being opened. You start to move beyond it.
I'm going to be last.
Yeah.
I want to look up on the hill where they set up the speaker. Are the things moving past it, or are they sort of crowding around it?
Some seem to be staying by it. Others seem to be moving still. Downhill.
Alright. Well, it definitely seemed like it was attracting, because I'll point out that there's a few there.
As you're saying that, as you're pointing up there and everyone's kind of looking off in that direction, Skulk, you're standing there by the fuel.
Yeah. Well, fair enough, not on the field.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
gonna launch
Yeah,
myself
yeah, no,
on
I know
fire.
you have a
I'm just
line,
waiting for
yeah.
everyone to get out.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you wait. Everyone's gone
There's
past.
everyone out.
Everyone's out.
Yes.
Everyone.
Oh,
we haven't
fuck.
forgotten everyone, I think.
All right, I'll grab a lighter.
Kevin!
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely burning it. Flick it open and throw it on. Throw it like fire
Yeah.
from me.
Okay.
As in like
yeah.
a proper.
No, I know. Roll shoot for me.
Okay.
That's a rare one for you.
I know, right? What is my shoot? I will spend a sigil.
Okay.
You've been tipping barrels of fuel.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking.
Yeah.
That's why,
No.
like I said, I'm actually like
Yeah.
throwing
lo-
away.
yeah.
But
It's like a lob. Yeah, I know.
I would have been careful because I'm
Yeah.
gonna set the thing on fire, not to burn myself.
He's a serial artist. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to re-roll.
Okay. All right.
Pass 16.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's. You light it. There's a little bit of wind, but you go and just flick to the side. It just drops and then starts burning back down towards the barrels.
And then I run.
Yeah, you start moving. Everyone's quite far back at this point. You see fire starting to catch beneath the fences and burning for a little bit. And then as that fire reaches those barrels, as it starts to just burn around, did you leave the ones that were there open? Or
The two that was there,
Yeah.
No, they were shut.
they were still shut up. You did actually manage to siphon some fuel out of it. You got some jerry cans. Don't need to worry about that. But eventually, as the pressure, the heat starts to build around these things, eventually as you start to move further away, there is this almighty... little pieces of metal flick all over the place as this just black cloud bellows out from here, and the fence just topples over in that region, just splinters out the side. This massive bang as the flames spread and start to burn around this region here. You start to walk away, leaving this place behind, making your way up along the road, heading towards Parkery Hill. Scott in that wheelchair getting moved along by Jen. Pushing along, you all continue to just soldier on as best you can. Once you round the bend here, beside the road, a grisly sight meets you. The remains of a horse. Blood and entrails still around it.
Poor buttercup.
The culprits not to be seen, but you carry on. You keep on pushing along the road until eventually you find your way to that familiar path taking you up onto Parkery Hill. Now, later in the day, the sun has started to grow low as you make your way atop the hill. It's tough, and pushing Scott up here, you've had a few other people rotating through, moving up and along here. There's this great black cloud rising up from your old home.
As we're walking, I'm pinging with the satellite phone.
Still in that same place. And then once you reach the top of the hill, you take a breather for a second. Scott finally stops rolling. And then Jen kind of comes around the front. You're right. Scott? Scott?
Yeah?
There's no answer.
Chica's breathing.
Go over, go close.
How's his fever?
Scott, roll one more constitution check for me. This time, it isn't flat. With the
It's
negatives.
just my normal negative.
Yeah,
Which
the
is
negatives that apply.
40.
Why is it 40?
Head
Stone cold
2 and chest 1.
I forgot the chest.
So it's a negative 40.
This is just this is
So 0.
okay, excluding the chest. This is just head for this.
Okay, so 15.
Yeah.
60.
Is that a
So it's 45 fail.
okay?
Oh, fail by 45.
Okay. Scott, along this journey, with that kind of low sunlight hitting the side of your face, even with the bandages on, the warmth feels good. You see everyone else in front of you, Jen behind you, pushing you along in that wheelchair. Your side just aches. And that initial burst from earlier on that you've had with you all of today slowly starts to fade, and that sharp pain in the center of your head comes back. That knife, and it feels like it's cutting through butter as you feel it moving, piercing through. This blinding pain that you grit your teeth, knowing that something's not right. But you just keep that eye steady, looking out towards the others, catching one last glance at Jen. And that blinding pain meets you in the front of your forehead. And that sight goes dark. You feel that pain dissipate and just numbness overtake you. And then finally and slowly you start to slip into the unknown. Jake, atop the hill, you keep checking Scott, checking his breath. There's nothing there. Jen starts walking away, panicking and just kind of pacing. Willow comes towards and starts trying to inspect him. Is anyone else trying to do anything else at this moment?
Got my knife ready.
I get my big radio out.
Okay.
Scott, can you hear me?
Hey, it works in that one movie.
Yes.
Do we have
I'm
any
just
big
gonna keep an eye
batteries?
out. I mean, are we? We're not moving at this stage. Are we? We've stopped. right?
You've all stopped atop the hill, looking back towards this,
I'm
and
looking back to
now
see if there's anything coming our way.
Do you have anything to shock him with?
At this point, I don't think that's the thing that's taking him.
I fucked Jen. So what?
Willow's trying. She's trying something, anything. This. I don't think this is the. I don't think it's the plague. It's not the infection. It's not the virus. It's something else. I don't know what. He's not feverish, and she's kind of reaching in behind the bandages, trying to feel. I don't know. And she just like reaches in, starts feeling for a pulse. She waits for a time.
Just start compressions.
He's still sitting in the wheelchair.
Go get him on the ground.
Yeah, you take him out, place him on the ground, start compressions, start pressing, trying. You keep pressing.
Yeah.
Searching for something. Seeing what you're doing, Jen comes down, she starts trying to place air in. You keep pushing. Trying to resuscitate Scott. Trying to... You keep trying. And that dying light Jen keeps giving breath. But there's no response.
Let's keep going.
You keep going for another 5-10 minutes as everyone stands around.
Nothing seems to be coming our way.
Nah, there is a great big roaring inferno miles away from you now. No response. You keep trying, both you and Jen, to the point where you're near exhausted. Till Willow kind of just takes you, grabs you on the shoulder,
Vulcan crap.
and tries to pull you away. Do you resist?
Yeah.
Okay, you pull back.
Come on, Scott.
Your grappling's too good.
Yeah. Can I grapple his heart back to life?
Stop grabbing Scott. Grab his soul. Hold it in there.
My ribs would have been crushed by now.
Oh, they were already, rough. Nothing. Eventually, after a fair amount of time passes and everyone's stood here, it becomes clear that Scott is
Faking it.
not responding.
I hate to be the one to say it, but we need to keep moving.
What's the time of the day? I'll check my watch for the time.
Check the time.
Yeah.
It's about 8:02
In the morning.
in the evening.
I'll call
That's
it
why the sun's starting
8:02
to.
PM.
That's why the sun's starting to set.
We need somewhere to go. Let's go this way.
I'm not just leaving him. I've
No, we'll take him.
left my fucking dad already. I'm
No,
not
good
leaving
place.
another person behind.
Put him back in the wheelchair. We'll go to my house.
Place Scott back up on there. And you start to roll.
I've been trying to make contact with Great Barry that whole time.
Over that time, over that whole period, nothing's coming back through.
I just tell them the situation anyway.
Yeah. And as your convoy leaves Go Island behind, and with your friend passed on, that's where we're going to be ending this part, this chapter, this season. There's a lot of unknowns flying through the air right now. Some bullets can be dodged, but others cannot. Sometimes it all catches back up with us. Thank you for joining us for another season of Zealand. Please do join us when we return, for we shall. Our survivors are on the road. Their home for many years now behind them. In front of them, uncertainty. But they are together a weird band of people from many different walks of life, many different sets of skills. What awaits us now? Who knows? That will be another day. Thank you all. Shall we give everyone a wave? Please do join us in the future. I've been Rycon. This has been Skulk, Dan, Scott, Jake, Nick, and Vedant. And our host of NPCs. I've been Rycon. You have all been awesome. And until next time, stay breathing.